What's good? I found something really good. This might turn into a ramble, but I feel like it's really important. So, post. People think it's crazy for black owned businesses to charge $45 for a shirt that costs $8 to make, but nobody questions Nike for selling a shoe roughly $25 to make for $185. Why do we not care about big companies pricing their items well above production costs, but when it's black people starting up their businesses, they must barely make a profit first? When it probably costs more getting everything to actually start producing the product more than actually just the cost of the shirt. So, I do have someone else's reply to this. I kind of want to say a few things first. Because the other person's reply doesn't mention this, but it kind of covers it. Not really. But I would say with a giant corporation, let's just start there. That $185 that we're talking about also covers marketing expenses, it covers the packaging, it covers distribution, it covers paying people's salary, paying certain people's healthcare. I say certain people because not everyone's getting healthcare. And it pays for the factory, multiplied by millions and millions and millions. All that money is accounted for and it's going somewhere. And it's providing jobs for a lot of people, whether those people are making well below an American minimum wage. Once the conversion rate is in, they do make a little bit of change. Not really, though. And plus, Nike also uses child labor, so that's an advantage that other people do not have because other people think it's unethical. It surely is, especially in the working conditions that these kids are in. My whole issue with it, though, personally, is that why are black-owned businesses trying to emulate Nike to begin with? If it only costs you $8 to make a shirt, sell it for $16, then you're making 50% back. If you don't like that, if it only costs you $8 to make, sell it for $24. And then the $8 can cover expenses to make, another $2 maybe for a nice bag to put it in, I guess, if you need that kind of stuff. And then multiply that by a few thousand. If the shirt only costs you $8 to make, why are you selling a shirt for $45? Does that not seem a little narcissistic to you? I can understand selling a shirt for upwards of about $35. If you just cut $10 off of that, I would probably be a little bit more inclined to buy your product. But if you're openly admitting, like, I can just get you a white shirt, just charge for that. Charge for people to buy the quality of shirt or the quality of material that they want in advance, and they provide that, and then all you're responsible for is the artistic design and stamping it, and at least I can get $8 back in my pocket if you're paying that much for your creative designs and things of that nature. But I feel like for most people, you would have to justify to me why I'm paying $185. I would say $85 because even that's like way too much for a shoe for me. But why would I pay nearly $200 for anything? I feel like once you get over $100, you hit something in some, even $99.99 is somewhat tangible in someone's mind. But once you hit $100, it now becomes a discussion. There are now questions. There are now certain people, $100 isn't a lot for that. Some people that number is 1,000. And then anything over $900, they have to be like, whoa, hold on now. Let me figure this out. People think that when you start making a certain amount of money, you're just blessed to spend money however you want to spend it, and that's not the case. You're more inclined to spend more than you make, no matter how much money you make or do not make. You are, for some reason, programmed to constantly want more under capitalism. So that's just corporatism within itself, You can't do much about that besides change your own personal life, and then hopefully through that you influence others to make a difference. But you can't force other people to change, which is why you can't charge $45 for a T-shirt, because American Rag sells T-shirt. I think the shirt I'm wearing is honestly like $6. So it costs me less than it costs you to make the shirt for me to have it. So when you're competing with Target, you're competing with JCPenney, you're focused so much on your narcissistic fantasy. You want Dior and you want red bottoms, you want asinine things that you can only have in a corporatist, materialistic society. But they aren't things that you actually need, and you feel like other people are like you, and there are other people like you that would pay for child labor and pay for overpriced things. But I feel like a lot of people think it's just unethical. Another issue I have is about it being black owned businesses. I don't care what color the business is, but specifically with black owned people, whether we like it or not, we are the role models for society. Whether you really want to accept that responsibility or not, whether you really want to view American history and look at it not from the eyes of the conqueror, but of the people fighting back, black people are one of the few groups of people in this nation to speak up and say, this is wrong. So to turn around from centuries of fighting corporatism, centuries of literally with your own life having to fight materialism, having to fight consumerism, having to fight people advertising you and advertising your families and doing anything for $1, it is very unethical for any black owned business to have vulturistic, overly corporate, and then just plain old unempathetic business practices. We don't benefit from that because we represent all of America. We also represent all of black people. That's our responsibility. When we travel, we represent all of America. How we think about America, how we talk about America, how we feel about our experience in another country, and whether we still feel like our heads are up in our ass when we visit a beautiful place like Fiji and you complain about certain aspects of it not being the conveniences of your home. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I guess it's any person's prerogative to be bougie or to act like an asshole, but I don't feel like it's super beneficial to begin with. So for me to even try to explain why you're charging $200 for something that it costs you $25 to make is just kind of bullshit. I thought it was crazy to charge twice as much. That's usually my general rule of thought. If something costs me $8 to produce, like a logo for instance, I don't do my own graphic designs because I'm not an artist, but I know an amazing graphic design artist, an amazing logo maker who needs more work. So I'm good with acquisition, I'm good at sales, I'm good with finding people, I guess. And he can actually make the design. So I did 2 times as much because I'm paying him first, and then I get paid only if they like the design. If they don't like what they're getting, I don't get anything. So I charge twice as much, so at least I get my money back and then some. I get twice the money. But this is just, who raised you? Like, that's 5 times what it costs you to make. So why? Just why? Alright, so this is the response that I found that I just felt like really summed it up so well. And then we'll end with this. I don't buy $185 sneakers nor $45 shirts, but I have shopped with corporate stores before, and here's what I know. They have their prices clearly marked and up front. If you're a physical store, Source Potion is there to assist you. If you're online, there's a customer service rep ready to chat with you, or chat. It doesn't say this, but over chat. I'm gonna save my response for after, and it's gonna be very short. They have regular sales, coupons, and discounts codes, and don't get offended, mad, or stank if customers inquire. They often offer free shipping. You get a tracking number. You will get your items in a timely manner. You have a clear refund policy that might include a return window that is a month or 2 or 3. If you're satisfied, there's a dedicated customer service line who will politely deal with your problem and try their very best to fix it. They act like they value you as a customer. They will make it right or give you a replacement or refund, process it quickly, and will often give you an additional coupon/discount to incentivize you remain their customer. Now, it's understandable that someone working out of their house may not be able to do all that, but I also understand that the consumer doesn't only need to pay for the product, they pay for the service. If you have a product and can't deliver on the service, you aren't selling the same thing. I dig it. I really do dig it. I do see a lot of the sentiments that are saved only for black-owned businesses for some reason, as far as the customer service jobs and stuff like that. But with that, I've worked in some of these places that you're talking about, one specifically, and what you're saying is kind of true, but it's basically the exact same thing that you're getting. Is you usually bringing up some nonsensical, just like a total non-issue based off your own financial mistake. You know, you bought some shit that you did not need for whatever the fuck reason that you did it, and now you need a refund. You're retarded. I've processed so many returns and refunds, and it's not like they're bad people. I'm not talking about every single person that returns stuff, but there's some people that come back, and it's not like, oh, I bought the wrong brand. Like, this is all you had, but now you have the thing I want, so I want to exchange for this. Great, that's cool. But it's like you have 20 fucking items and you basically want to return your entire grocery shop because you just came here to whirl around in dervish without any sense of financial responsibility. And then when Monday came around or the next Friday came and you didn't get paid yet, now you need an extra 50, 20, $100. You know, and I dig it to some extent, but ladies doing it with the clothes, it's kind of gross because we can tell that you've worn it already. And then you have to sell it to somebody else. Maybe that spreads COVID too. I'm not trying to rip this apart because I feel like it's great guidelines for any business. Honestly and truly, like they really do lay down the foundation and groundwork for what every business needs to be successful. That's just it. Like I'm dealing with something right now that not having your prices clearly lifted out. That's the price. No bones about it. No ifs, no ands, no coca notes. You know, that's what it is. They can't debate it. They can't argue with it. There's no room for negotiation. You know, you don't leave room for someone to haggle and negotiate with you on that. Online customer service rep, sometimes it's just a bot, but even like with Facebook Marketplace now, and I guess I should use that for sure, you get at least they come to your chat and then you can respond to it in a timely manner. You know, at least maybe tell them 24 to 72 hours, I'll get back to you. You know, depending on what kind of industry, what kind of business you're in though, if it doesn't take a couple weeks for a project to be completed, and this is something that can be done overnight, you know, by the time you respond in 72 hours, they probably found somebody else already. Or if they know you're not going to get back to them in a few hours, they're not even going to fuck with you. They have regular sales, coupons, and discounts. And I do have some perspectives on that. I sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And what we do is that we actually mark things a little bit higher because we usually expect to get undercut. We expect someone to throw out a price wanting about $10 to $20 less than what's listed, depending on what the item is and depending how much it's used. If it's something that's brand new and out there, then great. If there's something I'm about to sell now, I guess I'll go into a little bit of detail. It's like a baby seat bouncer walker thing. I'm probably gonna list it for $50. I expect to get like $30 for it, honestly. They often free shipping. I don't think they do. I think what you're not realizing is that the shipping is already inside the price. So they've already charged you for shipping, but instead of confusing the process, the shipping fees are already covered in what you're paying. You get a tracking number. That's good, and that's something that we've done recently. My girlfriend does like these beautiful, beautiful letters, custom made letters for kids, for people, and we do give out tracking numbers for that. So I think that's a very big deal. You should know when your product is coming, especially when you're doing online shopping and you're sending out the money up front, and then the product comes whenever the product comes. You want to know that you didn't just give out this money, person spent it that weekend, and then you're fucked. They didn't even start it yet. You're fucked. But no, we're really good, especially since my experience. We don't really accept payments until something is completed and something is done and out there. You have a clear refund policy that might include a return window that is a month or 2 or 3. I guess. I really don't even like that. Goes back to the thing I just said, so I'm not even gonna go into that and like satisfy that with a response. Here's the usually when you're dissatisfied, they hire people to placate you, yes, but these people hate you. These people actually do not like you whatsoever, and it's your own incapability to be able to accept that you made a mistake. It's your own inability to accept that you made a decision and you have to live with that decision. It's your inability to accept that you made a purchase, which is a very final thing, and now you want to come back 5 months later and return this because you forgot to do it within 30 days. I can understand, one, because I just told you my business model. I charge an upfront fee to make sure that I'm covered for the expenses that I make and hiring people out. I want to at least get my money back for hiring other people to do this job, just to make sure that the deal is finished, just to make sure the product is complete. Because while I am in it for money, I'm in it to see things come to fruition. I'm here to see things grow. I'm here to see things get improve and get better. And if we can negotiate a price in which I'm able to cover what I'm doing and able to cover my family, whatever the budget is left over for me taking care of my family and taking care of my needs, I don't really lead my life by my wants, but whatever's left in that budget, I'm not going to keep for myself. I'm going to tell you, like, you should market this shit. You should do this with the money. You should reinvest the money in yourself. I'm here to make people richer, not poor. So I do somewhat believe I believe if you don't like what you got, and because I like doing, especially now that I'm doing lawns locally, when you haven't done your best job, and it's better for you to realize that you did not do your best job in your work rather than realize that because there's a process. You need your process. You need your thing to come together fully so that step by step along the way, this thing can be complete and be finished. You don't leave a job site knowing that you haven't done the best thing. You should never leave a transaction feeling like you made a mistake. If you feel like you're making the mistake, don't make the decision to begin with. And maybe that's counterintuitive advice to this seize the day moment that you had when you made this purchase. But dealing with money isn't a seize the day attitude or mentality or science. It's not going to do anything to actually get you success. Having a seize the day mentality with money is going to make you poor, because money is a very long term decision. You should have your first, like Mr. Krabs, you should have your first dollar. So I feel like I don't have a refund policy. I don't do refunds. If you didn't like the shit, that's fine. I don't get paid. That's not a refund though, per se. I believe in the refund to that extent though. Like, I did sales and commission work for a while, so quite literally, if you didn't get a sell, you didn't get paid, because you're not pulling, it's like a wolf pack, you're not pulling your weight. If you're not getting any meat, you're not eating. You're only going to eat what you get. Everyone has to subsist on their own. So it's not like this type of thing where we can share fish or some like that. I don't believe in getting paid for purely mediocre work. If it's something that you can improve upon, if it's something that you guys are in a long-term type of deal and you got to feel each other out along the way, then I still don't believe in a refund policy because you got to get that going. And maybe 3 months down the road, you can decide, hey, we're no longer going to do business together. But you shouldn't even be doing most of this shit that most people do to feel American or to feel good about themselves. Like this low self esteem, insecurity bullshit that Americans are going through, having so much money that they can't be good people and make good decisions because they want money to solve everything. They want government to solve everything. If they don't want government to solve everything, they want money to solve everything. If they don't want money to solve everything, they want government to solve everything. No one wants to solve it themselves. So have a clear policy on business. I wouldn't necessarily put it within terms of a refund, but I would clearly write out and let people know how you plan to deal with them up front, or at least in a way where they can reach it on your website or something. Because a lot of people do have really shitty customer service. And just a little, honestly, just be a good listener. As far as, I'll do a video on customer service and something like that. I'm not going to go into it now. If you're dissatisfied with the customer person, then you want to get a person process quickly. Blah, blah, blah. You know, some of these companies have money for that. If you're talking about Nike or some shit like that, where they're paying their CEOs like well over $100,000 to oversee like human slavery and people killing themselves and killing each other to buy your product, and having child labor in different nations, and ignoring some of your employees struggling to live their lives and make rent. You know, if you think about all the things that these CEOs have to go through, I think they have enough money left over from the child slavery alone to pay for your product over again. They say like someone at their house may not be able to do all that, but it's like that's not something that you should expect to begin with, because once again, you should be making clear-cut decisions. You should be paying attention. You should be able to be living in your life, live in your own shoes, and make good decisions for yourself, or at least make decisions that you can stand behind, financially and otherwise. So that's it. I know that was pretty long, longer than I promised, but that's all I gotta say on it. So.